What's up, guys? Spencer Harvel, realtor here in Charleston, South Carolina with the Peninsula Property Group. And today I'm super excited to take you on a tour of an area that I know best, and that's downtown Charleston. Right now we're in White Point Gardens. We'll start here at the Battery, and I'm just gonna take you around, show you what it's like to live here, work here, and just explore Charleston. So let's go hop on the golf cart and I'll take you around. All right, guys, so this is the Battery. And this is a place that a lot of people think about when they think about downtown Charleston. You're gonna find really big, beautiful homes that date back to the 1800s. Most of these homes are gonna be super expensive. This is one of the more expensive neighborhoods in all of downtown. These are really close to the water with beautiful views. You'll find a lot of tourists down here. Like I said, this is White Point Gardens. We were standing inside there earlier. This is a really cool park. You can come enjoy a picnic. You can bring your dog. They do off leash after 5 o'clock. So we'll keep driving. We'll show you some more homes and we'll take you over to the water as well. So it is close to Christmas time. So you'll see some people are starting to put up their Christmas decorations. Charleston can be super beautiful during Christmas time. A lot of people enjoy coming at this time just because the weather is so nice. You're not dealing with the heat so much, and you get just a really nice breeze, and it's great by the water. So as you can see, the streets are really lined with big, beautiful homes, great landscaping, and it's really safe down here. It's almost like you're living in a bubble in a way. It's just a great place to raise a family. You'll see on your right, this is LeGree Street. This is one of the most prestigious streets in downtown. There's some big houses that have really big yards, and that's a huge thing about downtown. I'm gonna head over and show you guys the water on the Battery. And a lot of these houses are actually on the water. If you look this way, they're redoing the wall. So the city's investing a lot of money in helping with the flooding situation in Charleston. And a lot of these homes are at risk just because they're so close to the water. So what they're doing is building up the wall so that when the tide rises, these houses won't be dealing with flooding as much, because it's gonna make sure that these historic houses, stay safe. We'll take a left here, and this is gonna take us right over to the water, and you'll see where they built some of the Battery up now. And you'll see there's still some construction, but all this will eventually be done. They're making their way down the Battery. So these houses are probably some of the most expensive real estate in downtown. Obviously, you can see once we get past this construction that you'll have really beautiful water views. You're right on the harbor, so you'll see sailboats going by. You'll see a beautiful sunset each afternoon. So it's just a great place. People from all over the country come to Charleston for the historic charm, but also for the water and the ability to be so close to the water. And you'll see this is where they've redone some of the Battery. So you can see they've built up the wall here. They've put in benches for you to sit. They've put in big, beautiful palm trees. So this is a great place to come walk, hang out, walk your dog, be by the water. You're always gonna get a really nice breeze here. So this is Colonial Lake, as I mentioned, and right down this way, that's the park we just drove by, the horse lot. And then here you'll see, this is man-made. So you'll see it's lined by tons of historic houses, super pretty. This is a great place to get out, enjoy nature, take a bike ride around. 2 full laps is a mile. So if you wanna come run, this is a great place to run. But people really just enjoy coming out here, enjoying the Charleston weather. During the springtime, you'll see a lot of this is super pretty landscaping, beautiful flowers that are blooming. Right now it's green, but it really is a great place. So if you come to Charleston, this will be somewhere you want to come enjoy. So let's go jump back in the golf cart. Let's check out some other neighborhoods. I'll show you some hot spots and we'll go from there. All right, so now we're gonna head to Harleston Village. So this is another highly desirable area, neighborhood of downtown that people want to live. So this is right off Colonial Lake. This is gonna be super close to all the restaurants downtown. It's walkable, and you'll see there's still some really beautiful historic homes. You're gonna get a better value here. So you're not what we call South Abroad anymore. So you're gonna get a little bit better value for the home. It's not as expensive, but you're still gonna get beautiful 1800s historic homes in this neighborhood as well. So Harleston Village can be a mix of, single family homes. There's definitely some rentals here. Some kids that go to College of Charleston will live in this neighborhood. So it is a good mix, but I would definitely say that this, in the last 10 years has really changed and has really become a highly desirable area to live in downtown. So if you look across the street, if you watch the show Southern Charm, you'll notice that this is Patricia's house from the TV show. Beautiful home. She's actually located in what I said was called Harleston Village. As you can guess, it is a great neighborhood to live in. And you'll notice you can still get some really decent sized yards in this neighborhood, depending on where you're located and what your lot looks like, but that's another reason people like to be here. I want to take you over now to what we call the Wentworth Hotel. And this used to be a single family home built by the Wentworth family, and his entire family lived in this home. Now it's been converted to a hotel, and they have an amazing restaurant called Circa 1886 that is awesome fine dining. So this is the Wentworth Mansion. Pretty massive. And back in the day, this was a residence for just one family. Now it was a big family, but now they've converted it to a nice hotel. So if you're ever looking for somewhere to stay and you want to stay somewhere super Charleston, eclectic, that has great food, that's a great place to stay. So now we're going to continue on and we're going to head over to Broad Street. So Broad Street is one of the main streets that runs through downtown, and it runs west to east across the peninsula. Broad Street's going to be a lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses, so like law offices, real estate offices, things like that. You'll find all of those on Broad Street. So now we're leaving Harleston Village, and as I mentioned to you, it's super close to restaurants, food, shopping, so you'll see we're coming up on what's known as King Street. And I'd say this is probably the most well-known and popular streets in all of Charleston. You're going to find restaurants, you're going to find shopping, you're going to find, anything you want activity-wise, you're going to find here on King Street. So as we pull up to this light, you'll see across the way, this is the Charleston Place Hotel, which is probably one of the most high-end hotels in Charleston. They've got tons of shops, lots of awesome things to do, and really nice high-end hotel rooms. They have a great spa. So it's just a great place to stay if you're coming to visit Charleston. And now we're driving down King Street. This is just full of shops, as you can see, full of people. And this is a one-way street. You'll see lots of horse and carriages coming through here. It's just probably the most lively spot in all of Charleston. And this is gonna run us all the way to what I mentioned was Broad Street. This is the Charleston Library Society. And if you look to your right, this is called Ben Silver. So if you watch Outer Banks, in the first season, there was a scene where they were filming, trying to get some outfits to go somewhere, and that was filmed right inside there. So now we're coming up on Broad Street, and as I mentioned, this is another famous street in Charleston. There's going to be lots of people, restaurants, but this is a little more commercial when it comes to the shop. So you'll find a lot of law offices, real estate offices, things like that. So this is Broad Street. We're actually coming up on what they call the four corners of law. So you've got the federal, state, the church, and county as well. All of those buildings are right here. And so like I mentioned, the first neighborhood we took a look at is called South of Broad. So the meaning of that is everything that is south of this street that runs fully across the peninsula is considered South of Broad. So now we're on Broad Street and we're gonna head up to what's called Rainbow Row. And as you see, here's all the commercial spaces, but they're all in beautiful historic buildings. And these all date back to the 1800s. All of these streets have residential homes on them. So this is another place where you'll find lots of tourists walking around. It's just a great place to see the history of Charleston. So now we're coming up on East Bay Street. So East Bay Street runs us back to the Battery where we very first started, but we're going to take you to what we call Rainbow Row. And Rainbow Row is a huge tourist attraction, and I'm sure you've seen it on the internet. If you look to your left here, this is the oldest liquor store in America. So pretty cool. And now you'll see Rainbow Row. And so when you think about Charleston, you think about all the colored homes and beautiful rainbow colored homes. This is where you see all those pictures, and all the postcards and things like that are all kind of designed around what this is called Rainbow Row. So this is super touristy. So if you look to the left, this is a dog park. They let you bring your dogs in after 5. Pretty much everyone in downtown uses this dog park. Really cool place to meet people, great place for exercise. Charleston does a really good job of preserving these parks so that you have a place to take your dog. And speaking of dogs, it's super, super dog friendly, and you can take them just about anywhere. So this is gonna be the Charleston City Market, and this right here in front of us is the entrance. I'm going to take a right and kind of take you by it. It is a little bumpy. You'll see tons of little vendors. You can get all kinds of things in there: hats, photos, bags. It's, you know, a big mixture of things. And I'd say this is a pretty touristy area. This is where, when the cruise ships come in, a lot of people get off that come up and down the market. But it is cool to see. There's lots of history here. If you have some time, look up the Charleston City Market, and we're going to drive you over to East Bay. And East Bay is one of the streets that runs along the side of the peninsula. There's just a big selection of restaurants over there, and it's sort of up and coming. King Street's gotten so crowded and busy now that locals want to get away from the crowd and get away from the tourists. So a lot of people are starting to come over to these East Bay restaurants. There's more little bars popping up, and just it's another area that I think is growing, and it's going to continue to grow. This is where, if you've seen on the internet, the pineapple fountain, it's over right off of East Bay. So I just think that's going to be a really up and coming area. So now we're on East Bay, and you'll see there's tons of restaurants. Not a lot of shopping over here. This is more of restaurants and bars, which you'll still see. There's lots of people over here. It's a great place to be, but it is a little more low key than King Street. So you're not going to get the crazy. A couple of things to notice. This right here, this orange building, is High Cotton. So they did film a scene from The Notebook in there. On the left, you'll see the Saint Hotel, which is new. This is a small boutique hotel. And then also slightly north of Broad, which is run by the same people who own Halls. Amazing brunch, amazing food. So definitely try out Snob is what it's called. So now we're running down East Bay, and we're coming up on what's called Vendu Range. So across the way here is called the Vendu Hotel. This is an amazing hotel, mostly because of the rooftop. It's one of the best views in Charleston. So if you want a really cool rooftop bar, check out the Vendu. And we're going to run right down to Waterfront Park, which is another really great park to explore if you've never been here before. They've got 2 fountains. You can bring your kids, let them play in the fountain. But the most famous one is called the Pineapple Fountain, and you'll see why it's called that. And also we'll show you this really cool water view. So now we're on Queen Street, and we're gonna head back uptown. This is State Street here. So this is a mix of residential. You'll find a lot of art galleries here. It's a really pretty street, but the homes are a lot closer together. You're not gonna get yards. These are a lot more like townhomes. Still, you know, a highly desirable area to live, and all of these are gonna be historic. So we're now coming up on Church Street, and you're gonna find out really quickly why this is called Church Street. So if you look to your right, there's a huge, massive church. So this is called St. Philip's. And across the way, you've got a super old graveyard here. You'll see lots of ghost tours here during Halloween. Lots of people touring these just because they're so old, and you've got beautiful Charleston oak trees. So now we're coming back up on Market Street. What I'm gonna do is take you through Ansonborough, which is also a highly desirable neighborhood. More uptown, up on the Upper Peninsula. Then we'll go over to Marion Square, which is another really large park. Lots of events are held there. Charleston Food and Wine Festival, just tons of the bigger events because it's right in the middle of town. All right, so now we just left Market Street, and we're in a neighborhood called Ansonborough. And if you want decent sized yards, still historic homes, you'll want to come to Ansonborough. And the cool thing about it is you're kind of in the middle of the peninsula, so you can get to both sides really easy. It's great walking access to a lot of areas of town, and that's what makes this so desirable. Plus, I mean, look at these historic homes. They're beautiful, and most of these homes are pretty large. This is kind of a sneaky price, high price neighborhood. You don't expect it to be because it's not like quintessential, South the Broad neighborhood, but because of the walkability, because of the privacy, because you're not dealing with tourists constantly, this is highly desirable for people who know Charleston really well. This is St. Stephen's Church. This is an Episcopal church. I actually got married here, so I love this church. Beautiful neighborhood, lots of gorgeous homes. Sometimes you have to pinch yourself when you live. It's such a beautiful place. On the right, we've got the Gilliard Center. This is an event hall, mostly, big concerts. They do plays, they do a lot of Broadway stuff. So just a nice venue, and I'm fortunate enough to live right around the corner. This is Buist Academy. This is a school downtown. I think they're 3rd through 8th grade here, and I believe this is a magnet school, so you actually have to be in the neighborhood to get points to be able to get your kids in there. It's not easy to get into, but it is a great school. So to your left, you'll see Delaney Oyster House, my favorite restaurant in Charleston. It's right around the corner from me. Great food. To your right, this is actually Mother Emanuel. A lot of people know this because of the shooting that happened. They're actually in memorial of all the people who died during that shooting. They're putting up a $24 million beautiful garden, so we're super excited about that, to be able to remember the lives that were lost there, but also have another place that's beautiful to visit right around the corner from our house. So we're coming up on the corner of Meeting Street and Calhoun Street. These are two fairly busy streets, and right across the way you'll see that's what we call Marion Square. It's kind of hard to see from here, but lots of events. On Saturdays, they have the farmers market from Marion Square. Just tons going on there. It's the center of Charleston. You can see they're putting the Christmas tree up. It's Christmas time here. But this is another big park. You can't take your dogs off leash, but you can walk them. This is mostly used for festivals and things like that. To your right, you'll see the Dewberry Hotel. This is owned by the Dewberry family. This used to be an old federal courthouse, I think, and they transformed this into a hotel. And we're gonna head right down. You'll see the Charleston Museum right up here on the right. And then we're gonna go to what's called Rag Mall, which is in Ragboro, which is actually my neighborhood. And you'll see it's just a street that's lined with big Charleston oak trees. So we're taking it right here. This is Rag Mall, Rag Square, and this is super close walking distance to restaurants, shops, and it's just another place to come hang out. Okay, so we're coming up in Ragboro. This is my neighborhood. That's what we call the Aiken-Rhett House. So it's now a museum, but used to be a single family home. Now we're headed down Elizabeth Street. So this is my street. Ragboro is another neighborhood very similar to Ansonborough. It's in the middle of the peninsula. Amazing place to live. Most of these homes are historic and have been purchased and redone. So we're coming up on our cute little flower shop called the Flower Cottage. And our neighborhood is known as the Garden District. Lots of little parks and gardens, and we are coming up on my little house. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. This is just a little bit of downtown Charleston, what it's like to see things from a local's perspective. We are coming up on my house now. Remember, if you have questions about Charleston, if you're moving here now, if you're moving here in a year, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to give advice on neighborhoods, where you might like to live, what would fit with your family needs. And we are now pulling up at my house. So thanks for coming on the tour with me. We will chat again soon. Talk to you later.